21st CFE reflection. In this one, I am going to be uh, reflecting on and contrasting public versus private, or independent schools versus publicly funded schools. Uh, it is interesting. I think the main thing that it boils down to for me is class size. So I was lucky enough on my 10-week practicum. For the first 5 weeks, I had two blocks of Science 8, and both these classes were 18 students. So in that way, it kind of simulated a private school. I think at St. George's, they limit their classes to 22, but rarely do they actually get that high. Usually the normal classes are 18 to 20 students. In any case, just the amount of stuff that I was able to do and the kinds of activities I was able to do with a class of 18 is very different than a class of 30, and that became very obvious once I got classes of 30. I kind of felt hampered by like the activities I could do. Like for instance, with the Science 8, I was playing like Review Jeopardy a lot, and then I had it kind of set up in a really nice way. And then as soon as I got to a class of 30, I just realized the way I'd been playing it was not going to work. The class of 30, it was just too many people, and there wouldn't be enough engagement per individual student. So that was kind of a rude awakening. And then just having a lot more time to prep cool activities, being able to do a lot more cool activities with those Science 8s. So I find the same thing at St. George's. It's just the teachers do have a lot more freedom in a smaller class size, and it also takes some of the workload off marking, and then obviously you can spend more time with individual students who may are struggling or who may need extra help. Uh, and then and then obviously at St. George's they have a lot of resources available. So I know at the senior school, and some public schools have this, but they have a full-time lab tech. So this is important in a chemistry setting because honestly, to run grade 11, 12 chemistry labs takes a enormous amount of setup, especially for students count. So if you're doing it with 30 students as opposed to 18, that's even more prep. So when I was running grade 11 chemistry labs at McGee, um, I barely had, like, it was really difficult to set up a lab for 30 students, especially like an involved chemistry lab where there was going to be waste that needed to be dealt with, either neutralized or pulling certain metal ions out of it so that it's safe for the environment. So cleanup and setup, it, it can if you are a chemistry teacher, maybe you're going to do kind of like a toned down version of the lab, or maybe you'll skip the lab altogether because you just have a lot on your plate. Whereas at St. George's, it's a lower class size, so you can do more in-depth labs right off the bat. And then you also have a lab tech who's going to take care of all the waste. He's going to make all the chemicals at the correct concentrations for you, so you don't even have to worry about that. You just have to dream up the lab, and then the rest will be taken care of, which definitely incentivizes teachers to do more labs. And I think in chemistry that is particularly important because you work with a lot of just abstract stuff, and I think if you can take that abstract stuff and actually do it and see what these chemical processes look like and develop the lab skills and techniques, then that's really really valuable to your students because you can be like, hey, okay, look at this problem actually. And this is something I did a lot in chemistry. Like, would be like, hey, look at this problem that we're gonna do. This is actually a lot like the lab that we did last week. And so, yeah, I think just with smaller class sizes, with resources like her lab tech, you can just do more stuff. And you can do more stuff because it's less effort for you or less pressure for you. And you can focus on more teaching it and the implementation of it rather than setup and marking and all the other fun things that you would have to do if you don't have these resources available. So yeah, public versus private. I'm trying to think of some pros for the public system. Maybe if you can get students working more with each other. I mean, it definitely develops certain skills that you have to have as a teacher. Like the dealing with 30 students is a lot different than dealing with 18. So you can develop strategies to deal with the extra 12 students. Like you can deputize, stronger students in the class to act as like a TA if they're okay with that. Or you get students working more with each other, and then you take more of a hands-off role, and they kind of run the class. So there are strategies like that, but a more traditional teaching methods where you're kind of orchestrating the class, more running the class, more involved in the class. It definitely helps to have less students in the system. But that's not to say that you can't come up with your own strategies in a public school setting with a larger size. Anyways, that's all I got for you this week. I hope I touched all the bases. If not, just let me know. Okay, see you.